Every man and woman walking the earth today is born with greatness sleeping inside them. Yet most live in quiet defeat, shackled not by external forces, but by invisible chains they have placed upon themselves. It is a tragic truth that the vast majority surrender to limits that exist only within their own imagination. These limitations are self-imposed, and they are the root of weakness. They are the silent enemies lurking within, whispering lies, convincing you that you are less capable than you truly are. If you are to rise, if you are to become the dominant force you were meant to be, then you must declare war on these internal saboteurs. A mind infected with limitation cannot produce greatness. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown, these are not real barriers. They are nothing but ghosts, phantoms created by thought, given power only by belief. A man cannot be defeated by a fear he refuses to believe. The instant you recognize that the only prison that holds you is the one you have accepted, you hold the key to your own liberation. To identify self-imposed limitations, you must become ruthlessly honest with yourself. Look at your actions, or lack of actions, and ask, what fear has stopped me? What excuse have I allowed to harden into a belief? Most people never question the boundaries they live within. They accept without resistance the whispered suggestions of fear and weakness. They live in a cage with an open door, never daring to step beyond. True power belongs to the one who tears down the false walls and walks into the unknown, trusting that strength will meet him there. You must search your thoughts the way a gold miner pans for treasure. Separate the pure from the useless. Examine every belief you hold about yourself. Where did it come from? Did it arise from direct experience, or was it planted there by the voices of the timid, the defeated, the fearful? Most of what you believe about your limitations did not originate with you. It was inherited. From parents, teachers, society at large. It is second-hand defeat, accepted without examination. You have the power to reject it. There is no neutral ground in the mind. Either you cultivate strength or you allow weakness to grow. Every thought either builds you or breaks you. You must seize control of the inner dialogue that runs on endlessly inside your mind. Words such as, I can't, I'm not good enough, what if I fail? These are poisons. Every time such a thought enters your mind, you must strike it down with the sword of willpower and replace it with a thought that serves you. I can. I am capable. I will succeed. Weakness thrives in darkness. It survives when you do not confront it. Bring it into the light. Name your fears. Speak them aloud. Look at them directly, and you will often find that they shrink before your gaze. A fear confronted loses its grip. A limitation examined reveals its falsehood. The mind, like a wild horse, must be tamed if it is to serve you. If left untamed, it will lead you into ditches and dead ends. But if brought under control, it will carry you farther than you ever imagined. The weak version of yourself clings to limitations as if they are shields, but they are nothing more than weights tied to your ankles. They slow your progress. They sap your spirit. They convince you to accept less than what you are capable of achieving. To kill that weak self, you must first recognize the lies it tells. It says, stay safe. It says, don't risk failure. It says, you are not worthy. None of these voices belong to the man or woman of destiny. They belong to the defeated, and you must reject them utterly. True growth begins the moment you destroy the false ceilings you have built over your own head. There is no limit to what the human mind can achieve once it is freed from the bondage of fear and doubt. Your potential stretches farther than your current vision allows. Your strength is greater than you have dared to believe. The first and most crucial step toward realizing that strength is to tear down the illusions that say you cannot. Make no mistake, this is not an easy task. The weak self will fight for its survival. It will offer you comfort, excuses, and momentary peace in exchange for lifelong regret. You must not negotiate with it. You must not reason with it. You must destroy it. Every time you act in the face of fear, every time you move forward when doubt seeks to hold you back, you strike another blow against the old self. You weaken the bonds of limitation and strengthen the chains of mastery over your own mind. You are the architect of your destiny. You are the master of your fate. But you cannot build anything of greatness while carrying the rot of self-imposed limitation within you. Before you construct the towering edifice of your future success, you must clear away the rubble of fear, doubt, and false belief that clutters the foundation of your mind. A man without a purpose drifts like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by every wave, steered by every passing wind. He is weak because he lacks direction. He is vulnerable because he does not know where he is going. Weakness finds its way into the hearts of those who have not set their course. Without a clear purpose, the mind becomes a playground for fear, doubt, and hesitation. The one who is uncertain about his aim will find 1,000 reasons to quit, 1,000 excuses to shrink back. But the man of purpose is different. The man of purpose stands firm, for he knows what he desires, and his mind is disciplined toward its attainment. Definiteness of purpose is the master key to strength. It is the foundation upon which all success is built. When you know exactly what you want and why you want it, every action, every thought, every word becomes an instrument of power directed toward that end. There is no room for weakness where purpose resides. Purpose is the great purifier of thought. It burns away the distractions, the trivialities, the useless doubts that plague the mind of the aimless. Most people are failures because they have not decided upon a definite major purpose. They drift through life hoping that fortune will favor them, waiting for opportunities instead of creating them. In the absence of clear purpose, the mind grows lazy and fearful. It hesitates when action is needed. It doubts when courage is required. It retreats when persistence is called for. Weakness is not born of external conditions. It is born of internal confusion. A man becomes strong the moment he resolves with finality exactly what he desires and dedicates himself entirely to its pursuit. Purpose transforms a man from a creature of circumstance into a master of destiny. It hardens the will, it steels the nerves, it sharpens the mind. When you are driven by a mighty purpose, obstacles become stepping stones, not barriers. Hardships become tests of strength, not reasons for surrender. Criticism becomes fuel, not a wound. The man of purpose is unshakable because he measures every setback against the size of his vision and finds the setback too small to matter. The mind is a fertile field. It will grow whatever you plant in it. Fear or faith, weakness or strength, confusion or clarity. Purpose is the seed from which greatness grows. Without it, the weeds of doubt, fear, procrastination, and despair take over. No man can rid himself of weakness until he first defines the mission that calls to the highest part of his nature. Vague wishes, half-hearted dreams, fleeting desires. These are the tools of the weak. Definiteness of purpose is the weapon of the strong. If you do not know what you want, life will push you into what others want. You will become a pawn in another man's plan. You will work for another's dream. You will sacrifice your time, your energy, your potential for ends you do not even believe in. But once you seize your own purpose, you claim ownership over your life. You become the captain of your fate. You no longer drift. You sail with direction. You no longer react. You create. You no longer hope. You command. To cultivate definiteness of purpose, you must go deep within yourself and summon the courage to name what you truly desire. Not what others have told you to want, not what society says is acceptable. Your true purpose must come from the core of your being. It must be so real, so urgent, so vital that it ignites your soul and fills you with energy every day. It must be a purpose that you are willing to fight for, to sacrifice for, to endure any hardship for. Only such a purpose has the power to slay the weak self within you. Once you have determined your definite purpose, you must hold it in your mind with unwavering focus. You must write it out. You must see it every morning and every night. You must speak it aloud until it vibrates through your being. You must measure every decision against it. Does this action move me closer to my purpose, or does it lead me away? If it does not serve the purpose, you must discard it ruthlessly. This discipline is not optional. The weak self clings to comforts and distractions. The strong self clings only to purpose. In the absence of purpose, fear flourishes. Every difficulty appears insurmountable. Every hardship feels unbearable. But with purpose, fear loses its sting. Hardships become the price of admission to greatness. Every obstacle becomes proof that the purpose is worthy. Definiteness of purpose turns the ordinary man into a giant. It channels the full power of thought, energy, emotion, and action into a single blazing current that nothing can withstand. A clear purpose simplifies life. It removes the noise. It clarifies choices. It eliminates the luxury of quitting. Weakness cannot survive in a heart filled with burning purpose. The man who knows what he wants cannot be dissuaded by criticism, setbacks, or delays. He is not concerned with the opinions of the doubters, the cynics, the fearful. He is deaf to their voices because his own inner voice, the voice of purpose, speaks louder than all of them combined. Weakness thrives wherever decision is absent. The man who hesitates, who waits for perfect conditions, who fears the consequence of action, nourishes the weak self within him. Indecision is the fertile soil where fear grows, where doubt builds its fortress, where dreams go to die. Every moment spent wavering is a moment where strength is surrendered. The man who would conquer weakness must become swift and certain in his decisions, and bold and relentless in his action. The world steps aside for the man who knows where he is going. It offers no pathway for the one who drifts. Greatness does not wait for the indecisive. Success does not reward hesitation. Strength is born in the moment a decision is made and followed by immediate, decisive action. Each time you choose boldly, you strengthen the muscles of your will. Each time you act without delay, you crush the timid voice within that urges you to wait, to wonder, to stall. Understand this: decisions shape destiny. Every great life is the result of a series of strong, unwavering decisions followed by courageous action. There is no man who has achieved anything of lasting value who has not, at some critical moment, chosen swiftly and acted immediately. He did not wait for reassurance. He did not wait for circumstances to become favorable. He decided and he acted, trusting in his ability to correct course if needed, but refusing to remain frozen by fear. Action is the antidote to fear. It is impossible to move forward with energy and at the same time remain in the grip of terror. Fear may exist in thought, but action transforms it. Motion cuts through doubt like a blade through fog. The weak man waits to feel confident before he moves. The strong man moves first and lets confidence grow as a consequence of movement. Every step forward builds strength. Every act of courage weakens the hold of the timid self. Indecision is a slow poison. It dulls ambition, drains energy, and saps enthusiasm. It confuses the mind, paralyzes the will, and breeds the habit of surrender. The man who hesitates today will hesitate tomorrow, and soon hesitation becomes his way of life. His dreams fade not because they were impossible, but because he never seized them with decisive force. To kill the weak self within, you must cultivate the habit of immediate act. The longer you wait to act on a decision, the more room you give for fear to grow. Decisiveness does not mean recklessness. It means clarity. It means trusting your judgment, gathering the best information available in the moment, and then acting without looking back. It means understanding that no decision will ever be perfect, but inaction is always the worst choice. Progress belongs to those who move, to those who risk, to those who are willing to learn through doing rather than waiting for certainty that will never come. The man who succeeds is not the man who never makes mistakes. It is the man who acts boldly, learns swiftly, and adjusts intelligently. Mistakes are inevitable. Delay is unforgivable. Every moment spent in hesitation is a victory for the weak self. Every moment spent in action is a victory for the strong. Action is the weapon. Action is the sword that cuts down fear, that demolishes doubt, that builds the bridge from vision to reality. Every day offers 1,000 opportunities to choose strength or weakness. When you decide to begin a task immediately rather than delay, you choose strength. When you face a challenge head-on rather than retreat, you choose strength. When you move forward despite uncertainty, you choose strength. Each small act of decision and action forges a stronger character, a more indomitable spirit. Each delay, each surrender to hesitation sharpens the claws of fear and plants the seeds of regret. Action must become your nature. Decision must become your instinct. This requires practice. It requires consciousness. It requires a commitment to live boldly, to live by principle rather than by the moods of the moment. The weak self acts when it feels like acting. The strong self acts because it is committed to act. The weak self waits for inspiration. The strong self creates inspiration through movement. In action there is life. In hesitation there is death. If you would rise to your potential, you must make decision and action your companions. You must trust that action will always reveal more than inaction. You must believe that even a wrong step is better than standing still. When you act, you learn. When you move, you gain momentum. When you decide, you liberate yourself from the chains of fear and doubt. In every moment of decision and action, the strong self is born anew, and the weak self is buried deeper beneath the weight of your growing strength. Persistence is the iron quality of success. It is the fire that refuses to be extinguished by the winds of adversity. It is the steady hammer that strikes again and again until the wall of opposition crumbles. Weakness, on the other hand, collapses at the first sign of resistance. The weak self finds excuses to retreat. The strong self persists, driven by a desire so fierce that no setback, no defeat, no delay can quench it. Burning desire is the fuel that powers persistence. Without it, persistence cannot exist. A man without deep, consuming desire will quit the moment the road becomes rough. He will turn back at the first closed door, the first harsh word, the first failure. But the man who possesses burning desire presses forward when others fall away. His dream is not a wish. It is a necessity. It is as vital to him as the air he breathes, as essential as the blood in his veins. No man ever becomes great without passing through trials that would break the spirit of a lesser soul. Success demands persistence because the path to it is littered with obstacles designed to test your resolve. Temporary defeat is not failure. It is merely a question asked by life. How badly do you want what you say you desire? Only persistence can answer that question. Only the man who refuses to quit proves himself worthy of victory. The weak version of yourself whispers soothing lies. Maybe it is not meant for you. Maybe it is too hard. Maybe you should try something easier. These whispers are the voices of mediocrity, and they must be silenced by the roar of burning desire. When your desire burns bright enough, the word quit is erased from your vocabulary. Setbacks become mere pauses, not endings. Defeats become lessons, not death sentences. Every failure is seen as temporary because your mind is fixed on an unmovable target. Persistence is not stubbornness. Stubbornness clings blindly. Persistence adapts wisely. The persistent man learns from every defeat. He changes his plans when necessary, but never his purpose. He bends like a tree in the storm, but does not break. He adjusts his methods, but not his mission. His burning desire acts as his compass, always pointing him forward no matter how fierce the headwinds. Desire must be more than casual, it must be an obsession. The kind of desire that forges true persistence occupies the mind day and night. It invades your thoughts, colors your decisions, and directs your energies. It creates a state of mind where failure is not an option. This is not mere ambition. It is a hunger that cannot be satisfied except by achievement. It is a thirst that no comfort, no distraction, no temporary success can quench. A man driven by burning desire welcomes hardship because he understands that strength is forged through struggle. Each obstacle is a test of his determination. Each hardship is a sharpening of his will. He knows that diamonds are made under pressure, and that great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from weak minds. Therefore, he persists. Within every weakness lies the seed of an equal or greater strength. The man who believes that his flaws are permanent, that his shortcomings are unchangeable, lives forever under the shadow of defeat. But the man who possesses faith in himself, who understands the power of disciplined effort, can transform every weakness into a stepping stone toward greatness. Faith and discipline are the twin forces that turn the fragile into the formidable, the hesitant into the unstoppable. Faith is the foundation. Without faith, no amount of knowledge, no amount of opportunity, no amount of natural ability can ever be fully realized. Faith is the invisible force that whispers, "It can be done," when the world screams otherwise. It is the silent companion that marches with you through darkness and doubt. The man of faith is never truly beaten because he does not accept temporary defeats as final. He sees failure as feedback, setbacks as setups for comebacks, and obstacles as invitations to grow stronger. But faith alone is not enough. Faith without action is like a fire without fuel. It sputters and dies. Discipline is the fuel. Discipline is the daily decision to act according to your highest vision, regardless of how you feel. It is the refusal to allow emotions to dictate effort. Discipline means showing up every day, doing the hard things, making the sacrifices, building brick by brick, even when results are not immediately visible. It is persistence in action, endurance over time, loyalty to a cause greater than comfort. When faith and discipline work together, weakness has no choice but to surrender. The man who believes he can improve and disciplines himself to act accordingly transforms every limitation into a lesson, every flaw into a fortress. If he is timid, he trains his courage through daily boldness. If he is lazy, he whips himself into action through rigorous schedules and unwavering commitment. If he is ignorant, he feeds his mind with knowledge, understanding that ignorance is not a condition but a temporary state. There are no permanent handicaps for the man who refuses to accept them. Every great soul who ever achieved greatness began with weakness in some form: fear, lack of resources, ignorance, doubt. But through faith that refused to be extinguished and discipline that refused to slacken, they shaped themselves anew. They molded their character through countless unseen victories over themselves, forging inner power while the world remained unaware. Transformation demands struggle. It demands discomfort. The weak self recoils from this reality and seeks ease and quick fixes. But the man who would kill his weakness embraces the furnace of discipline. He welcomes the strain, the fatigue, the tests, for he knows that strength cannot be gifted. It must be earned. Each disciplined act is a blow against weakness, a declaration of dominion over the self. Faith must be absolute. It cannot be conditional. You must believe in your ability to improve even when external evidence suggests otherwise. You must see yourself as capable before you become capable. Faith sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. Without it, discipline feels like drudgery. With it, Discipline becomes a sacred practice, a daily affirmation of your growing power. Discipline must be consistent. It cannot be occasional. True strength is not built through bursts of effort followed by long stretches of inaction. It is built through steady, relentless application. The daily battle is where character is forged. Each morning you rise and choose discipline over indulgence. You harden your will. Each time you act in faith rather than surrender to fear, you take another step away from weakness and toward mastery. The man who transforms weakness into strength does not make excuses. He does not blame circumstances, upbringing, or fate. He assumes full responsibility for his state and for his transformation. He knows that weakness is not a life sentence, but a challenge issued by life, a test of his determination and resourcefulness. He answers that challenge not with complaint, but with commitment. Faith elevates your vision. It lifts your eyes from the dust of failure to the heights of possibility. Discipline grounds your efforts. It keeps your hands moving, your feet advancing, your will sharpening. Together, they create a synergy that few can resist. With faith, you see the path even when the world sees only obstacles. With discipline, you walk that path, even when it is steep, lonely, and treacherous. Transformation is not an event, it is a process. It is the cumulative effect of thousands of small acts of courage and control. Every time you override the temptation to quit, every time you act according to your purpose rather than your impulses, every time you renew your commitment to your vision despite setbacks, you are chiseling away at the old, weak self and revealing the strong, unstoppable self that was hidden beneath. The battle is not against the world. It is against the weaker version of yourself that clings to comfort, that fears risk, that hesitates in the face of challenge. Kill that weak version without mercy. Replace fear with faith, doubt with definiteness of purpose, hesitation with decisive action, laziness with disciplined persistence. Build in its place a self forged by burning desire, hardened by unyielding will, and guided by an unwavering vision. You. Remember, no man is born great. Greatness is a deliberate construction, a daily commitment, a relentless refusal to accept anything less than the full realization of your highest potential. The power is within you, waiting not for permission but for command. Step forward, choose strength, create the life that only you are capable of building.